Welcome. Let's get into a Bitcoin update video, talk about what's looking so great right now on this daily time frame with our momentum, and also cover weekly time frame for cycle top targets, as well as Bitcoin dominance for altcoin performance. So starting with the daily on Bitcoin, what's looking so great with our momentum right now is we finally have some strong momentum to the upside, and it has not slowed down at all. So the expectation with that is to see continuation with no large pullbacks yet. So expecting more follow through to the upside in the near term with no major pullbacks at this time. And until we start seeing this really start making some lower high pivots down, there's no reason to expect a large pullback. Right now we're making fresh highs, and that's exactly what I wanted to see out of yesterday's candle. Was a new higher high on RSI, as high as possible. We got 75.79. The first strong momentum reading was 70.21, and so the higher the better. Typically our moves that really get going to the upside, we see 80 plus on RSI, and so the higher we get on RSI, the better. If we look back all of history of Bitcoin, all the biggest, strongest trending moves come with very strong momentum. And when we get that 80 plus momentum, it's usually just the beginning of a major run. So we're only at 75, should be just the beginning of a major run here. And ideally we can push up to that 80, 85 area on the daily RSI to really get going. And that should just be the beginning or the midpoint of a major run to the upside when we start getting those really high up there momentum readings on RSI. So this is looking great because we're making new highs on RSI still. We're not slowing down the momentum. And the same thing can be said about the TCI momentum here. So higher highs, higher lows, and until we start seeing this slowing down, so seeing that bearish divergence come in with the lower high crosses down as price makes higher highs, there's no reason to think that this is going to have a major pullback like this one where it's drawn out. And so expectation, minimal pullbacks, and continuation towards new all-time highs. Now with that, we can kind of go out to the weekly and talk about cycle top targets and what my plan is for my current long trade on Bitcoin. So if you want to follow me on X, you can get my positions that I'm taking in real time. I posted this when I was taking it and what the setup was, why I'm taking the trade, what the plan is for it. But 91.8 was the entry on that one. And so the current plan with that is to look for new all-time highs first, and then look for a pullback with bullish divergence to add on to that position and then ride it out towards the cycle peak. So let's talk about where that cycle peak is likely to be based on the rainbow waves. So the area to look for a cycle peak based on this would be between 150K to 200K, conservatively as high as 250K on the extreme side. So the idea would be to be a little bit cautious. If we get to 150K, start being a bit cautious, maybe take some profits off, close some spot holdings at that point, and then to really close out if we poke into this red, just close everything at that point. That's the plan with this trade. So if we can get this to follow through to new highs, get a little pullback that I can enter or add on to that position with, then ride that out, that's going to be the main idea, the plan there. So hopefully we can get that strong momentum follow through to new all-time highs, get a little pullback that I can add on to that position, and then ride it out towards the cycle peak. So that's the plan there. That's the kind of cycle peak area. The range would be all the way from 150K up to 250K, likely around 190K, 200K in this red area, and relatively fast. So after we do reach into this area, it's not a good idea to be getting too aggressive. It's a much better idea to be taking profits up here and then looking for that next bear market to start taking place. So that's kind of the plan with Bitcoin, the idea of Bitcoin. We can look on this weekly as well quickly at the momentum. So the RSI, we got the hidden bullish divergence, which I covered in my last update video, and now we have followed through here. We're above that 50 and heading to the upside with some strength. So I'm wanting to see the RSI on this weekly as well get into that 70 plus territory for a nice strong momentum reading. And we also got the cross up here from below the zero line on the TCI. So things are looking good. Weekly momentum, daily momentum is looking good. We're heading to the upside, and should really be getting going to the upside in a strong way for a blow off top here. That's going to be kind of the main idea, the expectation with Bitcoin from here on out till cycle peak. So things are looking good with Bitcoin. Now, what about Bitcoin dominance altcoins? So my main idea in the last video was that we got this potential 5-wave finishing move here to go sweep some highs, and since that last video we have done so. So we did go up and we swept the high, the first one that I was kind of expecting to sweep, and there's still one more, just a weekly high over here that may be swept, but this already looks like it has the potential to be putting on a top soon. Typically we get a top when Bitcoin is nearing its cycle peak. So the idea with that would be Bitcoin nears its cycle peak, money starts flowing out of Bitcoin as people take profits and putting that into altcoins to really send them running and multiply profits from the Bitcoin profits people are securing. So that would be the idea, money flowing out of Bitcoin as it gets closer to its cycle peak, going down into altcoins, getting that final blow off top move on altcoins, and going into our next bear market. So thinking that we're pretty close here, we definitely have a some lower high pivot down on this weekly time frame. So there's potential that we've already topped here with Bitcoin dominance, which would be nice because we can get running on altcoins sooner rather than later. But either way, it should be pretty close. Not too much more waiting around for altcoins to take off, in my opinion. So hopefully in the next month, 2 months, 3 months, we start seeing this really start tanking as Bitcoin nears its cycle peak. So that's the idea with Bitcoin dominance, altcoins. Bitcoin, why it's looking good with the daily, weekly, things are lining up nicely for our final move into our cycle blow off top before our next major bear market. So if we go down to a very low time frame, such as the 4-hour, can see that our momentum's pretty good here on this, just this local move to the upside. So going to be expecting that we still have some follow through here. We just got this really little bearish divergence right here. That's nothing major, so I wouldn't expect a huge pullback from that little bearish divergence. We don't have it on TCI either, so maybe we pull back a little, maybe the pullback's already done and we just go straight up. That's going to be the expectation, is to just follow through to the upside here with pretty small pullback. After we get another move up like that, then I could see it maybe being a little bit of a more drawn out one, but nothing too crazy. We could kind of refer back to previous moves with Bitcoin coming out of this last range here. This type of move, anticipate maybe something like that, maybe something like this. Nothing too major like these drawn out larger corrections, just kind of these small pullbacks before continuing to the upside. So dips are going to be considered buying opportunities at this point until we start seeing this daily momentum really start slowing down. But right now things are looking great. So there's just no real reason to be expecting anything major as far as downside goes, nothing too brutal. But of course, some small pullbacks are normal and necessary. So just not going to be expecting anything too major. One thing that I found crazy about this move up was the amount of shorts that got liquidated. So I posted that, and I was just kind of mind blown that anyone was shorting this move. Look at this open interest decrease as we pushed up, which is very healthy, but this was mainly short liquidations. Some longs getting closed out as well in this little push down and over here, but bulk of this was liquidations of shorts as we pushed up here, which I wrote in this. It's crazy that so many people are shorting this move and just got liquidated when we are literally in bullish structure on all time frames. We're over the 200 EMAs on all time frames, and we have strong momentum on most time frames. Whose strategy is telling them to short this? I just don't get it. Maybe it's just because I'm a trend trader. So, if we're over 200 EMAs, we're in bullish structure, we have strong momentum to the upside. That would be the last thing I would ever think is to short. I would be looking to long, of course. But I guess some people will short even strong momentum, bullish structure, and being over 200 EMA, which is just not the way to go. I'm sure someone does it successfully, but man, it's a whole lot easier to go with the trend and with the momentum. But anyway, that's going to kind of wrap things up. Be sure to check out Bitunix Exchange if you want a crypto exchange. This is my affiliate exchange, linked down below in the description. If you guys need a crypto exchange and you can't access most exchanges due to your geolocation, then Bitunix is great because they don't require KYC or VPN. Anyone in the world can use Bitunix, and so that's a great crypto exchange for anyone to use. Also, make sure to follow me on X if you want to see my frequent updates. Again, posting my daily thoughts as well as my positions, my trade entries as I'm taking them with the setup and why I'm taking those trades. So check it out if you're interested, but that will kind of conclude things for this little update. Thanks for watching and have a great day.